Hi, welcome back to Practical Software. Today I want to show you a really cool library that just came out recently. If you have worked with three-dimensional data before, or even like just sensory data like inertial sensors or GPS, whether it's point clouds, robotic cinematics, transformations, sensor streams, you might have already bumped into the fact that visualizing those kind of data sometimes sucks. You don't want to build your own engine, your own renderization engine just to see if the data is coming out nicely. At the same time, you also don't want to be hooked to a library or a dependency like ROS, where you have to use the entire ecosystem just to render sensory data. And even if you have built your own system, which I did before, there is no guarantee that you're gonna make it extensible, scalable, that you're gonna support various different data types. It's just a pain, and it's not worth the maintenance. What if you could just, in a few lines of Python code, start a server and with a few extra lines of code, just build your own dashboard. And in that dashboard, if you could just visualize point clouds, camera data, inertial sensor, GPS, transformations, frame transformation, robot cinematics. Can you do that? Is it possible? This is the Viser library. This library allows you to, in a few lines of Python code, write your own rendering engine that runs in your browser. It acts as a server that is ready to accept connections, and any client can just push data to those connections, and there you have it. Real-time sensor information being rendering very nicely, beautifully. It is a nice framework, flexible, extensible, easy to use. And today we're going to look into how this library works, how to start it, how to render point clouds, how to render camera images, how to render inertial sensor as a plot graph. We're going to look into the basics, and then you have maybe an option to use for your own project. Let's get practical. Now, let's first look into the setup of today's experiment. This is how we're gonna play. There is a Python client and that Python client is gonna have the Viser rendering engine. That's why we're gonna instantiate the Viser server. We're gonna spin it up, and that same client is subscribing to the sensory services that is gonna be offered by a different application. All right. For starters, we're gonna do a simulation. So I'm gonna spin up a mock sensor application that's simply gonna spit data, and then later on in the video, I'm gonna show you how to use the same setup for a real robot. So that's sort of how we're gonna do. We have a Python client, we have a sensor server servicing sensory data, and here we have a camera, ADC converter, LiDAR, and inertial sensor. That's what we're gonna do. All right, we've seen this before. The way I usually offer for sensors is by writing protofile definitions. I write streaming services, and then any client can subscribe to the sensor information. That's how I'm doing it here. And just to show you the contents of, for example, the LiDAR proto, my sensor server is servicing LiDAR proto in the form of those services. So any client can literally just call get LiDAR scan, and then the server is gonna keep writing a LiDAR scan to the clients. That's how it works. All right. So the first thing I'm going to do, I'm going to start this simulation service. This is a C++ application. It's called Sim Publisher. It is just waiting for any clients to ask for sensor information. I'm just spitting mock data from this sensor service. Then we go to the main topic of today's video. It's the min client. That's how we start the Viser library. Let me make this a little bit bigger. I'm gonna make this a little bit shorter. And that's how you use the Viser library. The way I set up my Python environment is by using PyProject like this. I state my dependencies like this, and I'm using UV, this nice Python packaging VM dependency management, package management tool, everything combined in a single application. That's the UV. And that's how I usually run my Python applications. So here is my Python environment, and this is my application. The first thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna start the server. This is how you start the Viser server. You create an object like this, you state in which port you want to expose the server, the Viser server. And just for the sake of illustrating what kind of information you can render in this engine, I'm writing a very simple point cloud like this. So I can call server.scene. I can add a number of different objects to my scene, as if it was your typical 3D rendering engine. And one of those objects that you can add is a point cloud, and that's what I did right here. I named this point cloud. It's uniquely identified by this topic, let's say notation. It's for those who have used ROS before, it's quite the same concept. This is a topic to which I can publish and stream information to, and that's, I'm just calling this slider. I'm gonna render a few points. Those are the points. It's an NP array. There are 3 points. They're in at those coordinates, and for each point I'm assigning an individual color. Let's just run this. So I'm in the client folder. This is where my entire Python environment is living. Then I'm gonna do like this, min client. And just like this, the Viser server is up. So let me just rearrange the windows a little bit. There we go. So I'm right now inside the dev container running this Python script, and Visual Studio Code automatically forwards port 8181 from my host. So I can just access this application from my host using localhost. All right, so the server is up. I'm gonna open the browser, and there we go. This is Viser. With a few lines, I am already able to render, for example, a point cloud. And just to show you, for example, how big we can increase the points, I just do this. The browser automatically attempts to connect to the Viser, and there we go. We have a larger point cloud. And of course, while I'm not running the server, the browser is attempting to connect. Eventually, it's gonna be able to connect, and there we go. I have my point cloud once more rendered, but with a different point size. And here we see that you could toggle a few things. You can toggle the word axis, you can toggle different topics. Those topics usually refer to different sources of sensor information, and very easily you can modify a few. Oh, I didn't know that. We can actually change the point size right here. That's cool, I didn't know that. Yeah, okay, that doesn't matter now. That's Viser. For my next trick, I'm gonna comment this out. If I do this, the Viser will stop because there is nothing pulling the event loop, which is an internal thread within the framework. I'm gonna leave this point cloud, and now I'm gonna uncomment this code, and all this is doing is subscribing to the gRPCs. We saw this before. This is subscribing to the gRPC service of LiDAR. This is a stream service. And as soon as we are subscribed, I am updating this object points and colors directly from the gRPC service. So as I get information, I am updating the object that is being rendered in the web. And that's what I find it so cool, because just updating this field within an object, it doesn't take too hard for you to render from different sources of information. It's not too hard to render this. We shouldn't care about this. This is just converting gRPC to NP array from the NumPy. And let me just check the gRPC server. This is actually a real robot, but this is the local raw host running my simulation. So that's what I want for now. I want to run my gRPC server is inside my dev container. So we do it like this. If I start Viser, look what we have. This is my simulation of LiDAR sensor streaming information to my Viser. I'm gonna pass a different option here to the simulation. I think I can. Let me just check, because I had an option that's gonna make this rendering the same thing, but that's not what I want. So let me just recompile the simulation so that this LiDAR simulation is rendering random point cloud. So we have a more dynamic about the tool. Give me a second until it builds. Okay, now let me rerun the simulator. Static false, we're looking good. Back to the clients, I'm gonna run the client again, and there we go. In a few seconds, the browser should be able to connect to my new service. That is looking good. This is my LiDAR simulator just pushing LiDAR data. That's really cool. And that's how easy it gets. Yes, so those are 2,000 points coming every 20 milliseconds roughly. Very nice. Okay, moving on. Perfect. To my next trick, I'm gonna commit the gRPC LiDAR sensor streaming, and I'm gonna use a camera sensor streaming. So again, my simulator is publishing mocked images, and just like this, if I just run this code, subscribe to the camera, I get this very nice mocked images being rendered. And this is, trust me, this is exactly what I wanted to show. Those are just mocked cameras. Again, this is just to show, this is a simulation. This is just to show you that it is that easy to also get information from a real robot. And we will see this later on. So here with Viser, I can render camera images. Moving on, we can also use Viser to render plots, meaning if you have like a time series, real-time data incoming from sensors, you can also render them. And here, just to show you, I subscribe to inertial sensor services. Those are time series. And just like this, if we wait a few seconds, we have, this is an example of an accelerometer data. That's how cool it is. We can actually just mouse over a few points. We can check what is the time, what is the value at the time of measurement, and we get the real-time data plotting within a window of time. That is very cool. And just like this, we can get sensory data in real time rendered to your web browser. For my final example, I want to show you another feature of Viser. You can add sliders, and those sliders adjust some kind of behavior in your visualization. In this example, I've added a slider that is adjusting how much subsampled I want my point cloud to be. So I do this using an algorithm called Voxel Grid, and divides the space into cubes. If there are more points within a cube, we calculate the centroid of all this subset of points, and then we take them out of the point cloud, effectively reducing the number of points that is being streaming over the gRPC. So this is just to show you that with Viser, you can have sliders like this. Again, this is the way I do this is using gRPC bidirectional stream. Me as a client, the Python is telling the server, use this voxel size as your subsample parameter. The server is reading this, readjusting the point cloud, reducing the amount of data, and sending back. And this is so this is a bidirectional stream. It's an exchange of information between the server and the client. The client can asynchronously write information to the server can asynchronously write information back to the client, and they have a really nice exchange. And this is the example of a Voxel grid. And here I'm gonna, for the sake of the example, I'm gonna revert my simulator such that it pushes the same point cloud all the time, so we can better visualize this Voxel feature. So if I just rerun my simulator, going back to Viser and running my minimum client, we are getting the same point cloud all the time. This is actually streaming. Here we can better visualize the Voxel subsampling. And this is very cool. I think this is extremely cool. That's with Viser, you can have a system where you can adjust your point clouds dynamically, just using, for example, gRPC in combination with streaming. That is very cool, and you can do such features. Like I could do this all day, but I'm not yet done. The Viser library allows you to generate a public link that you can share with your friends or your colleagues or whoever. This link allows you to access and visualize the exact same information that you see in your local browser publicly. Let me show you. All right, we are back to my streaming in my local browser. Look at this. At the top, there's a button called share. I can click share, request a share URL, and just like this, I can send this link to anyone, your colleagues, your friends, your wife, doesn't matter. And then you can, the person that is get access to the link, and I'm going to use my cell phone here, I can just open this public link, and I'm getting the same sensor information that my simulation lidar is publishing, just like this. And here I also have the voxel. This is the subsample point cloud, and I can specify the slider also like this. How cool is that? Just a link. You can share your streaming service, server, lidar, whatever sensor to anyone, and that person can access your sensor information. I think this is really a cool feature. But of course, this means that someone is looking at this data to serve it back to your phone or to a public client. So be mindful that if you use a feature like this, there is no guarantee this data is being protected at all. This is actually being streamed somewhere in the cloud system publicly, and then just with a link without any authentication, people can get access to your sensory data. So be mindful of that. This is not to be used in production. This is to be used for piloting, for a demo, such things. All right, now let's do the same trick, but with a real cyber-physical system. This is my robot, so we've seen this before. There's a video about this robot, and please don't judge me on the mechanics of this. I'm not good at assembling stuff. All the parts are here. So what matters in this robot is that there's a Raspberry Pi. There is a three-dimensional lidar sensor shooting lasers in three dimensions like a cone. There is a camera, there is inertial sensors, and there is a ADC converter measuring voltages from the battery level. So a system like this is a very cool system to use a Viser. So you can have an idea what your robot is doing, what kind of information is it publishing, and whatnot. So I am no longer going to use my simulator. So I'm going to use a real thing, a real Raspberry Pi somewhere in my network. And I'm not gonna use the minimal client anymore. I'm gonna use another client that I wrote. This is a much more comprehensive client that is subscribing to all sensor information and gathering all this information and rendering in my Viser application. And this is how it looks like. If I go to UV run client, I'm gonna pass the IP of my robot, the gRPC port. You can't see this, but this is the command. All right, gonna put this back, pressing enter, and there we go. I'm gonna make this small, I'm gonna make this big. This is my robot streaming information via gRPC to my Python client, and my Python client is nicely assembling this information in real time. So here is my LiDAR sensor. I'm gonna cover it. It is quite responsive. I feel like there's quite low latency. I gotta thank gRPC a little bit also for this. Yeah, this is a LiDAR. I can navigate like this. Like we saw before, I can do a small manipulation on the size of the point. I can make it big, I can make it small, I can make it circle. I'm not sure of the options here. Let me make this point a little bit bigger, and I'm gonna go back to the GUI, and here we have real-time accelerometer measurements. I can shake this, and it is a shame that we have kind of a pattern here, and that is because this beautiful LiDAR sensor is vibrating the entire robot. So that's not the best showcase of acceleration, but if I shake it like this, you have your big disruptions on the axis. We have a gyroscope, which is also suffering from the vibration of the LiDAR. This is a nicer one. So this is me rotating the robot like this. Observe how fast and how responsive the system is. That is very cool. And this is with Viser. And finally, there's a camera that is poorly white balanced. The camera is right. Where is it? That's right here. And I can also stream real-time camera data, just like this. Hey, it's me. And Viser accepts camera, or I should say images streamings. Very nice. That's it for this video. I do hope you have enjoyed it. I think, again, like my other videos, I think cool libraries or cool systems like this must be showed, must be presented, must be demoed, because I think a good amount of people could benefit from having such an option to have your sensory data visualized in a fast, nice, efficient, and beautiful way. Thank you for watching.